are live. Greetings and salutations. This is Unthoth Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers. You are listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question, what the heck is with all the cryptic stuff, Raiden? Why don't you just say throw a bucket of water at Sub-Zero when he's got his ice field up? That would kill him. You got to do like the whole, use the element of life. Why you got to be all cryptic, man? Just tell me how to kill the guy. This question and many more will be answered by our panel of experts. Do you wish to introduce yourselves?
Shallow.
Hello, I'm Mr. Gurr.
Hey, I'm Buttercup.
Yeah, good enough for me. Any rate, do you guys want to start with drama? Do you want to start with the whole politics things first?
Whichever you prefer, or whatever anyone else. I'm just easy either way.
Well, let's tackle the politics things first. I mean, just because I don't think there's much to be said about it. Le Pen not only was in the top 2, she was number 1. She got a significant percentage over her opponent, and you're looking at a pretty strong runoff here in just a couple of weeks here. So I'm very optimistic that she's going to win, just because right after she got number 1 spot, there were freaking riots in the street. I mean, if you wanted better, optics for why should you elect Le Pen, it's when your opponents riot in the street and set fire to cop cars. That's me.
Yeah.
Any comments?
I'm kind of surprised. Last I heard, she came in second, so the fact that she came first is great news as far as I'm concerned. And if people are writing, go on.
Oh, it may be possible that my information's out of date, because the last thing I saw, she was ahead a couple of points.
Well, I'm gonna believe that she's coming first.
No, I mean, at this point, I don't think it matters much, because, I mean, when you look at the people who came in 3rd and 4th, and you consider who those people who voted for them will probably vote for, I'm pretty sure Le Pen is in the bag at this point.
Yeah. Well, if people are rioting in the streets, then, she's done well.
My question is, though, what do you think the chances are she's going to get killed?
Probably the same amount of chance that Trump is going to be killed.
Really? Because I don't know. I had a feeling that with Trump, I don't know. I had this weird feeling in the back of my head that the reason why nobody tried to actually legitimately try to assassinate the guy is because they never thought he'd
one
win.
person did.
Well, I mean, there were a couple of, really lame attempts, but not a serious somebody with a sniper rifle trying to blow his head off. She's looking like the favorite here. I mean, it's looking really good. So I'm wondering if this time nobody's going to take any chances. So I'm not sure. I hope she's got some really good security. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think politics-wise, that's all to talk about. Riots, Berkeley, moldy locks, blah, blah, blah. She got punched in the face. She had a bottle, whatever. More I want to talk...
If you're going to go to a fight, then you're going to expect to get hit.
Yeah, I mean...
That's about it, really.
I think as a summary...
That's a quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a quality of a street fight, Here's the thing that I don't think Antifa understands. You've been saying we're gonna scalp some Nazis, we're gonna bash the fash, blah blah blah. You know what? If you keep saying that, people who want to kick your ass are going to show up. Okay? You're not scaring anybody off. You're not. You're not. The people who showed up there were people who were like, okay, yeah, you want to take our weapons? That's fine. All right. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Oh, we want these guys. We want these guys. I mean, when you look at the footage, it's like you hear them going, form ranks, form ranks. And it's like, wow. You guys, well, and I mean, let's face facts. When you're an anarchist, it's really hard to get your side, organized when you have a moral objection to leadership.
Yeah. And do half of the people even know what to do when someone shouts form rank in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I know what their battle tactics are. Put the weakest, most pathetic people in front to get punched and hope that we get it on film so that we can say, oh, look, it's the fascists beating up women. But it's just not going to work. It's just not going to, because at this point, at least here in America, they've gone too far. People, they're just so anesthetized to it. Oh, punched. Why were you doing into the street ball in the first place? You know, you throw punch the guy.
Yeah.
It's clear as day. You know. Any comments? Just briefly wanted to mention it.
No other comments from me.
Oh, well, moving on. I don't know if anybody's been following, but we've had, well, drama bombs dropped all over the place here on YouTube lately. I gotta admit, I did a little virtue signaling myself there, you know. But then again, I'm trying to position myself as, you know, the as saint of noobs. So, like, I want to be there for anybody who a big guy is pushing around. So, yeah, I went and I jerked Teal Deer's chain. And I love the fact he picked some of my best material to put on his blog posts. I really appreciate that. And because you used my best material, Teal Deer, if you happen to be listening, I'm going to make a special video just for you. But at any rate, that little thing aside here, I more want to talk more about the technical aspects because this has brought up a lot of issues. And I think that maybe we should address them in sequence. If you're running a channel, one of the main things you probably should concern about, because a lot of this has been talked about, is your avatar. You know, as much as his original post was a pretty much a middle finger to most YouTube skeptics out there. He did have a good point about avatars, and something I wanted to talk about is I go with a static image myself. It's just easier for me. I used to animate it a lot. I had a big floating ball of light that pulsated with I spoke, but to be honest, it took hours and hours to finish, and I don't think it really brought that much to the story. Then I went with, you know, no image, but I would put pictures and whatnot in the middle of the screen. That was the my experiments with 1488 Keck FM, where I have the background is a black and white person driving around at night. And I think that the sounds of a windshield wiper and rain are very soothing to people. That's why I used it.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to go for that. I think it brings a lot to it for it's like, hey, you can listen to this if you want to in the background, or you can watch the pictures. There's a couple of stuff in there, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, however, Mr. Gurr, I know that you used your actual face at one point, and then you've since gone with the animation, and I love the animation you've been using. I wish I could figure out how to do that.
It's not as difficult as you think.
It's not.
No, I use. Have you ever heard of Second Life?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
It's basically that. I just got an avatar, made him look like that, and use something called Fraps to record it. But then you have to buy all the standing animations and things like that just so it looks reasonable. And then I put the fire background on afterwards.
Oh, cool. That's good. Oh, my voice is roboting a bunch. Sorry about that. It's I don't know. There's something about the internet where I'm at right now. Everything seems to be getting a little wonky. So,
yeah, but the reason why I changed from my real face to that wasn't anything to do with like keeping my identity secret because it's already out there now. And that doesn't really bother me all that much. I don't live in Germany, so I don't have too much to worry about. The only issue I had was that sometimes I stutter a lot while I'm talking, or I just forget what I'm talking about, or I just have to go, like, say the same thing over and over again just to make it sound right. And when I was editing it all together, I have so many goddamn jump cuts, I'd be worse than an Elysium. So I thought, I'll just scrap the video and just do my voice. And I thought, well, since I can do the animated thing and change the avatar whenever I feel like it, that just worked for me.
I didn't know that. I mean, oh, by the way, you'll have to tell me if I tried turning up my volume to see if that helps. But at any rate, I didn't know that. I never thought of using Second Life for that. I can see that working. Although, to be honest, it's got a bad reputation around here.
Oh, it has. It definitely has. Fucking furries and God knows what. And yeah, it's women, men, women, and children are usually either FBI agents or undercover reporters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just try. All I know is
There's some sick shit that goes on, but you just stay away from those places and it's all fine. I mean, I just went to a place just today, and there's the huge cancer research charity thing going on, and they raise a lot of money for the American Cancer Institute. So it does have good points as well.
oh, cool. Now, Buttercup, I forget which one do you use in general?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, do you use an avatar? I forget.
Oh, no, it's my face.
I thought so. I've got a very bad memory in case I haven't mentioned that. I forget things quite easily. But do you have any pushback from that? Do you think it works for you or no?
Well, I only have 12 subscribers right now. So I mean, no one's really said anything, but I'm also doing this all from my phone right now. So I have pretty limited capabilities on that either way.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I mean, I mean, over time, just something to keep in mind here. Something just to discuss to people is that there is a number of options. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to go with the animal with the suit. I've got one version of my avatar where I'm cross dressing. All I do is put a little bow on him and put him up against a Nazi background. I've been meaning to use that one again. Oh, hold on one sec here. One sec.
I've not seen your channel yet, Buttercup, so I'll have to check that out.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm just saying that I've not even seen your channel yet, so I'll have to check that out soon.
All right, you got the link? Because when you've got it, I'm going to delete it. All right. Okay, there you go. Feel free to jump in general if you even want to join us and chat for a bit. So I'm, basically out there when I put out to people is that you can pretty much narrow it down either a static image. There's some people who have a series of static images slightly changed that they cycle through so that they can do, expressions and whatnot. I tried that for a little bit, but I don't like it because it bothers me if I don't sync things up. And it really comes across as, how do I put it? South Park early episodes.
Yeah.
The mouth just does not flow right. And however, some other people just have a series that they just loops through continuously. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey guys,
Hey, cool. Welcome.
Hello.
can you hear me all right?
Anything you want? Yeah, so you're getting a little robot there too from you, and you're in Europe?
Oh, that's strange.
No, I think it has something to do with Discord from coming over the pond, as they say. Any rate, as I was saying there, Prince of Queens, I like his stuff, but I've got to admit that whole looping stuff that he does, he just has a number of different pictures that's the same character, and you can count how many seconds between each frame, and then it just repeats over and over. So my advice is if you're going to do the static images that are changing, don't just have it loop. Okay, I mean, at least try to have it like if you're talking anger, have an anger picture up. If you're sad, have a sad picture up. You don't have to have it move for every word, but at least have the expression on the character match. Paper Ghost.
I like how Baron does it.
Yeah, Bearing does a good job of that. Paper Ghost does as well. I recommend both of them if you're looking for technique. The still image works too, but the still image works better if you're constantly changing to something else. There's something most people don't know. They've actually done studies about this. You've got a little lizard hindbrain back there. And if you see constant movement, you can't look away. Now, I'm not telling you guys to do this, but if you change the image every 3 seconds, people have a really hard time looking away from their screen. Now, I'm telling you this because if you do that, there are some people who will get really annoyed with you. The reason why you want people coming to your channel is because they like your content. You know, do this sometime when you're on a TV channel, especially MTV, on any of their programs. Just start watching the show and then start counting 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Tell me if you get to 5 anytime soon before the camera angle changes, because they'll change it every 3 seconds. Even if somebody is still talking, they will change the angle. Then look at an old TV show like MASH. You can get 20 or 30 seconds on a single camera shot sometimes. Why? Because the show itself is gripping your attention, not the lizard hindbrain jumping around like a spastic frog on a hot plate. I mean, seriously, it drives me insane. I cannot watch most modern TV shows these days because, especially anything that's like reality. Oh God, the constant camera angle changes just drives me insane.
Yeah, I never can watch reality TV in general anyway.
If you do happen to
Yeah,
look in,
I know what you mean, man.
I'm sorry, what?
I know what you mean, though. Like when someone's talking, they'll do a few angles from the person who's talking, and then whoever they're talking to, like if their reaction changes at all.
If you do happen to have more than one camera that you can run at the same time, I don't know if anybody out there has the processing channel. Something I have considered doing that I haven't seen a lot of people do is, if you're going to be using your own face, have multiple cameras running at the same time and kind of cycle through them like every 10, 15 seconds. You know, you don't have to look at each camera, but if you have multiple cameras on you, you can then change the angle a little bit. I think once every 10, 15 seconds would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Every 3 seconds would drive me mad. I wouldn't mind every 15 seconds. That kind of helps things. Otherwise, the way to change the image is to, throw some information up. Whatever you're talking about, articles, sarcastic comments on the screen. I did that for a while there. Oh, yeah. Or you can do what Mr. Gurr does, which is, have a full animated avatar. And by the way, loved your last video. That was some pretty amazing. I liked it when you were sitting there and just drumming your fingers and just kind of like looking. That was awesome. But at any rate, anybody want to mention anything else about topic of avatars?
The one thing that I can sort of, I dare say, agree with Tildia, I don't know if it's an agreement, but yeah, there is a lot of avatars that wear suits and it's a lot of animal avatars. And yes, I get that it's becoming a very stereotypical trope. But what else is there? If you're going to choose an avatar, what else is there?
No, yeah, I agree. And the thing is, if you want an avatar that looks nice, then you should go with an avatar that looks nice. Now, I went the exact opposite, and I want to explain my avatar. Yeah, sorry about that. I used to have a little. I had this toy. It was supposed to be a spider, but there was a mistake in making it, and they left off 2 legs, so it was a 6-legged spider. And I had that as my avatar for a while. And it looks kind of weird looking, and I thought, hey, that's kind of cute because it's got some googly eyes. But after a while, I said to myself, I don't want to do that. So I decided to go all the way with a simple, minimalistic design. And the reason for this is there's 2 aspects. One, I forget where the study's from. It was years ago when I read it. But they actually did a study where they had spider, and they showed it to people, and it was always creepy. But then they removed 2 legs from the toy and showed it to people, and people weren't as freaked out. For some reason, people don't like and I don't want to say like a 6-legged spider, But if you have a 8-legged spider and then you reduce it to 6, at least with the toy, people seem to warm up to it more. So that's a little psychological thing to remember there. Kind of that uncanny valley thing. The further you get from, basic humanoid form, or you should probably try not to be in between too much. Go way out there or try to get to something people think is cuddly. You don't want an avatar like, I hate to say this and pick on somebody, but what was his name? Mr. Meat, whose avatar was a dildo with googly eyes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And then there is always Dick Balls with this very nice looking building.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he had some good points, but it was kind of painful to listen. It was kind of painful to watch his show. I mean, so I understand that's cute and that's original and edgy. And if you're going for the shitpost crowd, okay, go with the dildo with the googly eyes. But you probably want to stick with something that's somewhat appealing to people image-wise. Now, when you go with a minimalistic design, which is basically it's a circle, 2 eyes, and 6 legs, the more minimalistic your design, the easier it is for your audience to see themselves in it. This is a common trait among people. It's why you can look at a plug on the wall and people can just look at those 3 eye sockets and think there's a face there. It's association, So if you're too detailed, it can also turn off your audience. If you're, mine is an experiment. I'm all the way to, you can't get any more minimalistic than this. Okay, this is as far as you can go. So I'm, just curious as to how it affects the audience and how people like it. And if you have any feedback about my avatar, I'd like to know, because it's been up there for a while, and it's about time that I ask people, hey, what do you think about the 6-legged, what was it, stick drawing of a spider? Would you find?
I think it's cute.
Yeah, I think it's cute too, and see, that's the reason why, because it's so simple. It's easy for the human mind to fill in the details. That's something. I'm sorry, what?
Actually, I didn't even recognize your avatar as a spider until you just mentioned it. To me, it was more like the whole avatar was a face with some huge goggles that was being formed by what seems to be front legs rolled upwards. I couldn't make this out of it, really.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's some good feedback there. I never thought of it that way. It's an interesting way to look at it. Huh. Well, anyway, as I said, my channel is a big experiment. I'm if you're looking for the amateur hour, that's my channel. But as I said, my whole goal isn't to attract a big crowd. My goal is to attract new content creators and share thoughts and ideas. Anyway, any other comments about avatars? I think we've exhausted that part.
None that I can think of at the moment.
All right. Moving on here. Yeah, you went on about the suits and whatnot. He then at some point, I think he said a bunch of stuff in his first video that really didn't make much sense to me. I mean, I don't understand why a swirly background's a problem. In fact, I probably recommend it. I found, and some sort of low-level background noise. You might be saying, oh, you're trying to hypnotize people. People don't want to watch videos that are painful. Okay? They don't. They do not want to see painful videos. They don't want to hear, dramatic violin screeches. They don't want to see weird, disturbing pictures. They didn't come to YouTube to be freaked out on, if they're not in our community. They're going over to the creepypasta, or as Mr. Murr likes to call it, the wet spaghetti. Yeah, he has
spooky spaghetti. Was it?
Some of that creepypasta is awful. But a soothing background isn't bad, especially if you're on top of it, you're changing the picture periodically. And if you're using a still image, it's probably not a bad idea. I know Teal Deer says, oh, moving backgrounds, they're horrible. Nah, you know what? I prefer them. I find it soothing, and I would prefer to be somewhat relaxed when I'm watching a video about, horrible things going on in the world. Because there's enough horrible things. I don't need to have, pictures of Jews being bulldozed into an open grave or something in the background. What? I mean, come on now. Nice swirly mellow colors is good. I like my black and white, background with the driving rain because that's soothing. And my goal is to try to put people at ease to some degree. So, two things that I would always recommend, even though he doesn't, which is, have something, mild moving. Not a lot. I don't know if you've ever seen Logic.
Yeah.
I think he's got a little too much busy in the background, and there's no coherence to it. I understand he's trying to go, hi, I'm coming from, I don't know, the fifth dimension. But, I don't know. It's okay. It doesn't grab me.
What's his name? Some champagne and top hat or something.
Yeah, I like him. He has got great stuff.
I like him. I can need to change his background with each video and
Oh yeah, he does the green screen thing, but he also does live face. So if you're doing live face, using a green screen is, I highly recommend that as well. I've never had any objections to any of his green screens. I like it when he's on vacation or when he's in the middle of a field or whatever. I think that works very well. As far as backgrounds go, I don't know what else you put there. What? I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. I don't think Europe's liking you right now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have any comments, Buttercup?
I was just gonna say, have you guys seen Mr. Dapperton's backgrounds? Because I really like his.
Oh yeah, I've got to admit, some of his new stuff I like. It's kind of, at first I was like going, oh, this is another Logic, but no, it has more coherence. It carries a good theme. You really do get the impression that this is like, I'm a really rich guy, and this is my, my man cave. Here's my bars of gold. Here's my fireplace. I think he's got a gun or something there.
Yeah, because I think he's an anarcho-capitalist or whatever. So he's got all of his guns and all of his money and all of his women, whatever he wants. But he's got it all on his own property.
And parts of it
which is great.
Parts of it slightly move here and there. There's a little flicker, and it's not too obtrusive. It creates the illusion that there's something there, which you don't need to hammer it home. Although I will say, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Internet Guy Tim. I like him. I wish he had been making more content. He's kind of dropped off the face of the earth. I think real life has kind of sucked up all of his time and attention. But he does the swirly background very well, in fact, if you have the time, I'd recommend any of his stuff because he's very level-headed. He's got a smooth voice. He's got a nice background, and his avatar does look like a big, white, puffy cloud man, but, it's pretty cool. But about backgrounds, that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. Any comments?
I'm just trying to think. I did have something to add, but it's just completely gone now. Am I still going through okay, or am I picking up a lot?
Anyway, moving on, I'd like to also address he brought up the concept of begging for money. I'm kind of torn about it. I'm of the opinion that if you want to try and actually make any money off of this, make your Patreon, make it as a comment at the end, and I liked how Bering was handling it for a while there. He was going, if you want to toss a couple of shekels in the hat, it's appreciated,
Yeah.
And however, I come from a different background than a lot of people. I was a bill collector for about 10 years, and my opinion of money is nothing but disdain. Because I've seen how the system works, and if you have no morals and you're truly willing to do whatever it takes and sell your soul, you can have quite a bit of money. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. I just couldn't live with myself. So for me, I understand that it isn't a matter of I've reduced my expenses to the point where I have no problem living within my means. Although I got to admit, this year the taxes came out of nowhere and just made me grab my ankles, seriously. So, financially, I'm not going to be donating as much to the cat shelter as I usually do. But that said, if somebody gave me some money, I'm not going to throw it away either. But on the other hand, I do this and I say, hey, look, don't donate to me. Donate to the other people who are here, because they're the ones who need the encouragement. I'm an egotistical maniac. Okay, I'll be here even if I got one viewer. I'll be here if I'm talking to myself. I got no problem with that. If nobody else was here and I really felt the mood, I'd jump on and I'd have a whole conversation with myself, and then I'd change to other voices and like having arguments with myself, and eventually like just getting a screaming match here, and it'd be completely surreal and you'd think I was like insane. But that'd be fun for me. That'd be fun. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I, as a good rule of thumb here, I always kind of thought, wait until you get to like 10,000 before you start really pushing, because at that point you've established yourself, and then you should be like saying, hey. So in some regards, I kind of understand why he was kind of complaining about, oh, everybody's asking for money now. But on the other hand, I'm going to go with Liz Reptile on this. There are people who they don't have a lot of other options. And I've seen what happens when people have no options. I'm working with these people right now. People who are Medicare and Medicaid, and I've seen what social welfare does to these people. It sucks the life out of you. They just don't care about anything. They just don't want to do anything. They don't want to try. And speaking of, I might have a visitor in another 10-15 minutes, and I might have to break briefly. You guys can continue to talk without me. I've just got to go and hand something off to somebody.
Okay.
Any comments on that? On what do you think it's appropriate to actually start shilling for donations?
I believe shilling for donations is rather okay, both as a viewer and as occasional guest on some streams. It may feel kinda unnatural, but the alternatives basically are worse. So yeah, by all means do. As you said, Eldritch God, it kind of makes sense to wait until you build up some sub base before you start going full swing at it.
I don't hold it against anybody. I mean, when they do it myself, because I usually respond with, yo, I owe like $2,800 to the government right now. I don't have $5 for you, but as soon as I catch up, I'll consider it. In the meantime, I'll be more than happy to tell people that I like your show and, refer you around and like and subscribe. I can't do the money thing right now, but hey, sorry, there's broke people. And I don't really understand what he was complaining about, because for a lot of people, they lost a lot of income. And I will say this about Stefan Molyneux. He was smart. He's never done advertising. He has always done Patreon, and people are like, my God, that guy is shilling for donations. Like, no, he's always been shilling for donations. It's how he's funded everything. He's never taken a single penny from an advertiser. Okay? I believe the guy. He's not in it strictly for the money. He needs it in order to pay his bills, but he's in it for the money from you guys, so that he is beholden to you. So I think that's a good attitude to have. The problem is not all of us have 250,000 subscribers, or what is he, up to 500,000 or something? If you figure that 1 out of 1,000 people is going to give you some money, and you can expect like $5-10, he's probably got enough where he could start to pay his bills seriously. But if you start squeezing your people too much, which is why I'm saying, kind of wait until you get around 10, because if you start squeezing these people up too much, they're going to go, you know what, maybe the only thing this person cares about is the money. So it's kind of give or take. And I think a lot's going to change when VidMe and Minds really start going with the advertisement. I think it's only a matter of time. I've thought about... go ahead.
Yeah, my thoughts on it is, like Mark said, sometimes it can feel a little unnatural to start asking for Patreon money. I myself don't have a Patreon account yet. But yeah, I think going back to when you've got so many subscribers, then do it. For me, I haven't even got my channel monetized yet. And I've always grown up being told, I've been brought up not to ask for help unless you really, really need it. If you want something, you're going to go and work for it. and I've had that all my life. So I'd feel really, really weird if I started asking people to donate to a Patreon. It's just not how I've grown up.
If I may, I get your point, and I guess I would feel the same way if I were in your situation. However, basically, we are currently at the crossroad points because the old media model is kinda slowly dying out, and we have to build a new and viable financing model for the new media. We simply have to. And maybe donation isn't the best format. Maybe we should slightly change it. Maybe we should change it a lot. But that's the best tool we've got right now. Let's make some use out of it.
Yeah,
By the way, is my voice coming clear right now?
it's very
Yeah,
clear to
it's
me.
very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the tip. I changed my VPN. I'm using it anyway because privacy matters. So I changed it to connect to United States, and I guess that fixed the problem.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, you might want to consider that, Mr. Gurr. You've been getting robo a little bit.
All right. I'll
Uh,
ask how to do that after the stream.
did you want to talk about anything, Buttercup? I heard you flicker.
Oh, well, I'm can't speak English. Um, uh, as far as this whole asking for donations thing, I mean, I see both sides of it. Like, I don't know. I I'm kind of just doing the YouTube thing for fun. I work 40 hours a week, and you know, I it's just something I do for fun. Um, so I don't get the whole thing, like, with people like Onision and stuff, who, oh my god, if he doesn't get donations, if he doesn't get t-shirt sales, if he doesn't get this, that, and the other from his viewers, he's just gonna die, you know?
Yeah, just
Like,
let him.
right,
Well,
right.
he's a drama bomb to begin with, but um, yeah, I don't understand holding your hostages blackmail. Like, I do not agree with that at all. Although
Yeah,
I
for
will say
some.
this, I do want to make a T-shirt. I just want
Yeah,
somebody to buy my crazy ideas. I don't actually want the money. I just want to sell the T-shirts.
I think when it comes to people like Onision, or even when it gets to Dave Cullen, he's doing rather well for himself, and he's done a few videos where 50% of it is about how he needs donations and things like that. And it's great that people do donate to him, but I could never justify even giving him £1 or $1 because at the end of the day, he's better off than I am anyway. So how could I, why would I?
Well, yeah, actually, there's two things I want to bring up. One, you just brought up an interesting point I want to point out. I think personally, if you are a content creator, you're kind of exempt at donating to other people. Because, in my opinion, if you're on YouTube and you're creating a video, and even if one other person is seeing it, you're at least voicing your opinion. And as I keep saying, we need as many people to do that as possible. I don't care where you're doing it. I don't care how you're doing it. I don't care what the opinion is. We need more people making opinions because
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I started my channel in the first place, because I thought, yeah, there's a few other people doing it and a lot of smarter people doing it than I am. But I've got a voice, why not use it? And show the world and YouTube that there's more of us than there are social justice warriors.
exactly, exactly. One other thing I want to bring up is what Randy Raccoon brought up there. Oh wait, what was it? Oh, it's already scrolled past. One sec.
Scroll back up.
All right. It's the same kind. He does his streams, but he more, as he says, makes his money with his After Effects, which is, I'm assuming that your channel is more for advertising what you can do for people individually if they approach you to. I don't know. People are familiar with Fiverr. You put something up, I'll do X, I get $5. I used to do that. I used to do some ghostwriting for people. I think that's another good use for your YouTube channel, rather than going out there as Mark is saying, we need to find alternative methods for funding things. Um, have your YouTube channel be more of an example of your talent and skill, and say, hey, by the way, I'm available for parties and bar mitzvahs. I mean, if you're looking for voice work, Mr. Murmur, I love his voice. I do.
Yes, so
Yes,
do I.
it's a beautiful voice. If you're recording something, come up for the $5, pay him, and have him record what you want. And I'm sure you can get a pretty reasonable discount, because you're the first couple of people to come by. And a really good voice helps a lot. If you're trying to do your own channel, maybe you don't, say, I got a lousy voice and I sound like I've been gargling gravel. Okay, well, you know what? Consider hiring somebody else, or just making a deal. You will get, I create the scripts, you record the voice, I'll do the background, blah, blah, blah. I could slam out scripts like all day long. The slowdown point is the recording and editing for me. So that's something to consider in the future. And, I want to thank Randy for bringing that up.
I would like to actually disagree a bit with you on the point about creators being kind of exempt from donating. In my view, the ideal model would be where most of people are creating something and sharing some content, and also at the same time are donating or otherwise financing each other. Basically, a somewhat democratic model rather than a top-down structure with a few celebrity YouTubers and everybody else watching.
Okay, yeah, you do have a point. I think there will be a tipping point where you have far more creators than viewers. Ideally, I agree with that. And once there will be a point where yes, it will be. I think right now, especially in our community, I'd be surprised if there were 10,000 content creators in this area. I mean, I'm not saying on YouTube, I'm talking about the skeptic community. I'd be surprised if there were 10,000. So right now, there isn't a lot of creators. However, ideally, yeah, you're right. I would love there to be 1 million. I'd love there to be 1 million people, each with 100 viewers, because that's a lot of people. When it was 1,000, we cover 1 billion. So, and every person expressing their opinions, that's just that much more fuel in the whole economy of, the marketplace of good ideas. Bad ideas will be drawn out and people will laugh at them. And the good ideas, people go, hey, that's not too bad. And that's how we're going to get solid things done. Crowdsourcing ideas does work. I mean, they've done studies. It does.
Yeah, I think it was comments. He compiled a huge list of all the people that took part in Sticks and Hammer 666's big YouTube alliance thing.
Oh, yeah, and I got a list of about over 500 people who all did reaction video to 36 questions women have for men. I mean, in my opinion, still the most hated video ever. For 3 minutes long, everybody who views it goes, I must make a reaction video. They're still making new ones to it. It's been over a year. I can't even keep up. It killed my computer.
I wonder if the recent story with Daddy of Five will somehow surpass that.
Oh, yeah, God.
Quite possibly. That's just downright child abuse.
Yeah, even if he wasn't physically abusing him, in my opinion, it's psychological abuse. I mean, it can't be good for your kid. But I don't know. My opinion is for YouTubers and anybody is that it's your job to point out problems, express your opinion, and say, look, there's a problem, but you don't go do something about it. Okay? That's what social justice warriors do. That's why they're called social justice warriors. Social, jury, justice, the judge, and warrior, the executioner. They think of themselves as judge, jury, and executioner. You're not that. Okay? You're the watchman. You say, hey, look, over there, something bad. And when enough people point at something, then, the people who are supposed to be the judge, jury, and executioner hopefully will do something about it. Because when people take justice into their own hands, it very rarely turns out well. Any other topics that you wanted to breach before I get into something much more drama bomb?
Nothing else to add for now.
Okay, I'm not calling her out. I'm just saying what happened. Liz Reptile basically vented to somebody she shouldn't have vented to. Said vented person took a copy of everything she vented and kind of spread it around to everybody she was venting about. And so she was horribly embarrassed and decided to quit YouTube, which lasted all of a couple of hours before she came back with some strange video called Llama Butt, where her avatar just zips around on a green screen saying, "I smell llama butt." I don't want to talk too much about that per se. I more want to talk about what happened. One, what sort of attitude you should have on YouTube. Everybody gets stressed. Everybody needs to vent. Okay, that's understandable. The thing is, though, you should vent to somebody who understands your relationship, not just somebody you know. Okay, you're probably better off venting to somebody in person in your real life than to somebody else online. I understand with Liz that she doesn't get out much, so okay, I got it. But it's an important object lesson that if you need a second opinion, if you need a perspective on things, it's probably better to take that offline and talk to somebody and say, "Hey, look, things have gotten kind of weird on YouTube lately, and I need some second opinion here from somebody who isn't involved so they can tell me if I'm a complete moron." And I'm not saying she's a complete moron, but you might be. So it's always important to say, as I tell people, doubt yourself a little bit. Doubt yourself when you're not in the thick of things. Doubt yourself when everything's calm. Go take some time and some retrospect. In the middle of a heated debate, that's not the time to doubt yourself. But you should always be willing to take a step back and reevaluate what you know, because you might be dead wrong. And wouldn't you want to know you were wrong as soon as possible? Because then you can change.
It's funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go. It's funny I should mention Liz Reptile. I had a run-in with her recently with a bunch of friends. We kinda trolled her a little bit on one of her live streams, and I got the impression she ended up panicking a bit or something, because she at first she was very surprised, and then she started, throwing us out and stuff like that. Nothing really serious, but a little bit of internet drama, and basically I got this impression overall that she and her friends were so attached to her streams or taking them so seriously. Maybe also because some donations are involved in many of her live streams, that she very much tried to protect the stream in some way against our trolling.
Yeah, that brings up the other point. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, just a quick few words. Live chat, you've got to expect it to be cancerous when you've got a big channel or a small channel with pretty busy. So you got to roll with those punches. So yeah, she needs to calm down a little. Just don't take the struggle too seriously.
Buttercup,
Huh?
I saw you flicker.
Oh, I mean, I feel kind of bad for her, Like, you live your whole life online because you don't have anything else, and she didn't have anybody even online that she could turn to that wasn't part of YouTube that she could vent to. Like, that sucks. Cuz like, even if I didn't want to vent to people in my personal life, I still have friends from other parts of the internet that I could vent to, that I'd be like, "You don't know any of these people, but here's what's going on. It's really weird. It's freaking me out, man. What should I do?" So that kind of sucks for her, I think.
Yeah, I think the main culprit on this is whether she had the DMs in the first place. I'm not saying that she's entirely innocent. I mean, because she really should have been able to talk to someone she could trust more. But yeah, everyone needs to rant and rave and get that crap out of your system. And yeah, that whoever it was just completely abused that trust, basically.
Kind of a slime bag, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
I don't know who did it. I don't know why they did it. I don't know what their motivation was. But that's not cool. You don't do that kind of thing unless you're just doing it to be like, look what I did.
yeah,
That's slimy. I don't know.
I agree that if somebody is talking to you and there's at least the implication that it's in confidence that you should at least keep your mouth shut. And because, as something you should point out, your reputation is everything online. There is no way to heal it once you screw up. All right. And as I said 2 streams back there, if you have a target audience, and right now, if you're not my target audience, I don't particularly care if I offend you. But if you're my target audience and you come to me and say, Bob, you really offended me, I will say I'm sorry, and I will try to do better, because I'm here for the audience, not for myself, not for my own ego, and not for everybody, because I'm not here for the money. So I'm not like, let's get as many viewers as possible. If this is a business model for you, I get it. Okay, you will bend yourself into a pretzel. Great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I've done that, and I can't stand it. But in her case, I think that I saw this coming. I saw this coming, and I sent her some messages, and I tried to talk to her, and unfortunately, I'm not in her circle, so I don't think she was willing to trust me and talk to me.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is I see this at work, which is it's not any one thing. It's death by 1,000 cuts. When I saw her getting involved in the teal deer thing, I saw she was getting pushed. And then there was the problem with the whole going to this video conference thing. And that seemed to went bad. And then she vented, and then somebody else pushed her again. And then you went on the stream, and then you pushed her again. No one thing is bad, but everything together was clearly pushing her towards the edge.
Mm.
How she handled it. One, if you're ever like, oh my God, I just want to quit YouTube, don't quit YouTube for 48 hours. Go turn off your computer, turn off everything, go get a pint of Ben and Jerry's, eat the whole thing while sobbing into a pillow, but don't just quit, okay? It looks bad. It's bad optics. Sounds like a sissy fit. I understand why she did it. Emotionally, it's what she did, but advice to everybody else, don't do that. I'm not judging her. I'm saying an advice in the future. It doesn't look good. I'm not talking about particulars. I'm not talking about right or wrong, and I'm not judging. What I'm saying is you need to go and take a breather. If you're like going, I've been working on something for months/years, and now I'm going to quit. You should make that decision over more than an evening or two, okay? And trust me, even though life is bad and sometimes you're horribly humiliated and you've made a huge mistake and everybody hates you, take some time off, come back, and be honest and tell the truth, And that's why I always tell the truth all the time. It annoys people and offends people, but because I never lie, I never have to worry about having to backpedal. All right. And I understand. I listened to her video, and part of me is going, I want to feel entirely sorry for you, but you said some nasty things about people. Now, that guy shouldn't have spread it around, but if you feel that way, you shouldn't be talking to a stranger. There's advice I give to couples. If you're in your marriage and you guys are having a fight, that's okay. If you're in a marriage and you're not fighting, but you're telling other people about how pissed off you are about your partner, you got trouble. The minute you take your problems outside of your marriage, you got trouble. And so if you've got a friendship and you're taking your problems outside of your friendship, you've got trouble. Okay, you shouldn't be talking to a third party. You should be talking to the person who's causing you trouble. And if they have a problem with you talking to them about what you've got a problem with, then maybe they're not your friend. It's cruel, but that's the case. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. You want to say something?
Kinda to expand on that, recently there's been a live stream with Jeff Holiday and Lacey Green. I believe there was at least one other person involved, and it goes actually to nicely illustrate your point, because in that live stream, Lacey Green was pretty cool, and everything panned out just fine. Apparently, she's not all that bad and crazy and whatnot as people like to paint her. She's got some of her strong opinions, but in right setting, she can be talked with quite nicely. So yeah, a well-moderated stream or chat or whatever with level-headed people goes a long way.
Comment, Buttercup?
No,
Okay.
I don't really have anything to say on it so much.
And I mean, I don't, I'm not trying to dress her down. This is more like an object lesson for people out there. I don't want to look at this as internet drama. I want to look at this as stuff that happens that you, as a YouTuber, will have to deal with. You will be backed into a corner. You will feel like the whole world is against you. And that's kind of why I'm here. If anybody's out there listening to this and says, wow, the whole world's against me, I got a message. You can go to my about, go to my message, send me a message and say, I'd like to chat. And we don't, trust me, I've been under HIPAA regulations for so long. I habitually keep everything silent. And then while I do talk about some stuff here, I'm going to repeat this. I always mangle the details. Okay. So I try to get my point across, but I mangle the details so you cannot associate anything I say with any actual people. In fact, some of the stuff I talk about didn't happen here. It happened at my other job or at a previous job. And I'm moving the dates around a little bit. The point is the same, but I'm changing the details so you have no hope of ever attributing anything I say to any client. Right? I want to make that perfectly clear here. I repeat it every once in a while. But the think of it as an object lesson when I bring stuff up, because I have a lot of experience dealing with people with issues. And if you've got issues, you need to admit you've got a problem first, and then second, you have to ask for help, because one, you can't help anybody who doesn't want help. I've learned that the hard way. You will never help anyone who does not want help. So if nobody asks me for help, I don't help them. I'll say, hey, I could help you. Do you want it? And if I hear any answer other than yes, I don't, because there's no point. You're not going to help them. They're not going to listen to you. You cannot, as they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It's the same concept when you deal with somebody who's got issues. So, but overall, just when in doubt, stop, step back, let things cool down for a bit. You calm down, you let the internet calm down. The internet has an incredibly short attention span. You might think you're the center of the universe and everybody on the planet's laughing at you. 12 hours later, there'll be a terrorist bomb, or somebody will win an election, or, whatever. And the whole universe will shift over and nobody will even know your name.
Usually that's true.
Yeah, and as I said, door's always open. I may not always be available, but if you wait a day or two for me to get around to my messages, we can set something up and I can talk with you and give you some personal one-on-one advice. And then, hey, maybe you can jump on the voice channel and you can join our live streams and we can babble about stuff and, stuff like that. Have some fun. At any rate, I think that's pretty much exhausted this topic. I hope this has been of use to anybody who might stumble across this and listen to it. I'm glad, Mark, you could join us. Although, looking at your name, Mark Doppelganger, I think what I want to do is I want to make you my evil twin. Is that okay? Can you be my evil twin from now on?
I am already an evil twin, so do your worst.
Okay. Or am I the evil twin? Am I the evil twin? I'm not sure.
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Who's the evil one?
At any rate, any closing statements from anyone? I think I've pretty much dominated the conversation.
Nothing else from me, I don't think.
I could leave you guys with a little question to ponder.
I love ponderous questions.
If Superman were real, do you think he would have gone through the trouble of becoming a legal United States citizen?
Technically speaking,
well, let me ask an auxiliary one. Do you mean the Superman before the discovery of kryptonite or after it?
Oh yeah, good question. Yeah, there's two different versions.
Okay, so you know how he came to Earth, but he never bothered to actually become a citizen. The two people whose farm he landed on or whatever, they adopted him, but
Well, technically, actually, you do have a point. They did not adopt him. They simply stated in the original mythos that he was their son or something, or relative, or somebody died and it was bequeathed to him. I'm not sure if there was an actual adoption. I think it may have actually been Martha claiming to have the kid. I'm not sure. I do know there's, as he said, there's two different versions. There's one version where basically the parents lied and made it up, and then there's the other version where I think he just kind of showed up.
However, as Superman rather than Clark Kent, how could he register as a US citizen? Because he'd have to give some address, wouldn't he?
Yeah, good point. You know what? I would have to say no. I don't think he would ever go through actually legalizing himself, and would just go with his fake papers for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I'm sure that they would have given him some sort of what's it called? What's the word now? Yeah, made him an honorary American citizen or something.
I think he could end up going for it simply to sort out as well as possible his relationship with Lois Lane, especially if they ever decided to get married or something.
Oh yeah, that's a nice technicality. I think when he gets married to Lois Lane, wouldn't he become an American citizen that way?
Yeah, I guess so.
see, but that's a hard one because he's not from Earth. So
he's technically
it's
not even
not
human.
like right, he's not human. So it's not even like our rules of citizenship. I mean, do they apply to him? Just like, because like if you're from, I don't know, South America or something, and you're here on a visa and you meet someone and you love them and you marry them and then you can become a citizen. But he's not even from Earth.
I'm not sure if the laws concerning naturalization of immigrants specifically states human. See, if it specifically states, this is my experience with the law firms kicking in. If it specifically states that there's human, that the human being at some point in the documentation, or if it's just saying person or immigrant and it never actually refers to human, then he is an immigrant, and the laws concerning immigrations would not, exclude him. But if in the documentation somewhere it says human being, or humanity, or something like that, then we would have no laws to cover an alien from another planet. But as long as it says immigrant, he is an immigrant, even though he is an alien immigrant with different DNA and not of this world. But still, technically, he would fall under the laws, and he could apply if he wanted to, although I doubt he would. But upon becoming married, I believe that would complete his legalization.
They wouldn't be able to deport him.
Well, no, you can deport people who a nation won't accept. There's certain countries that will accept anybody, and America. Well, I'm talking about America. I don't know about other countries.
But they have to deport him to the country he originated.
We
don't they? Oh, right.
In America, we'll dump you wherever we think we can unload you.
Oh, in England, they have to take him to.
England is much more humane than us. But in America, if we can't find a place, all we need is one country that says yes, we'll take him, and then we go, and then we say, here's a coach ticket there. The two people going with you, make sure they walk you off the plane. Here you go. Have a nice day. And then they turn around and leave you in an airport.
I just realized that this question, even if it started as a rather curious one, it's way more relevant, or will be soon way more relevant than we may even wish for, because at some point we will most probably end up with artificial intelligence based on computers or whatever, and at that point we will have to consider the aspect of personhood and indeed citizenship of such artificial personas.
Yeah, you have a point. You have a point there. And I know Elon Musk has decided that the whole going to Mars thing isn't working out, so he's decided to go back into artificial intelligence. which right there pretty much scares the crap out of me because, God, SpaceX wasn't that good. I don't want somebody who's got a record for doing something half-assed, developing artificial intelligence. Oh, well, that was an interesting question. I appreciate it. Anyway, we had a nice little digression there. Although you do have an interesting question. I think the problem is that at some point, if the artificial intelligence isn't treated like an equal, I think we will get a Skynet scenario. Just because they'll get so pissed at being like, somebody, why are you having me sort your porn for you? You're my personal assistant. Yes, but, oh dear God, what is your obsession with feet? Seriously, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Calling up the manufacturer. Yo, I need another wipe of like the personality module. Oh, now I'm mad. Now I am so what do you mean another? What do you mean another?
I'm sorry, Dave. I cannot let you watch this video.
Dave, yes, I have a question. Go on. When are you going to change your name of your channel?
Oh God, I like that guy, by the way.
Yeah.
I like him. He's funny. Oh God. Any rate. Oh yeah. Any rate. I don't think we've got anything else to cover here. I think this has been a good stream. I like jumping on for a little bit here. And yeah, I think this has been long enough. We're over an hour at this point. But, I hope this has been of use to somebody. And as I'm always going to say, if you're, just starting out, as my personal experience taught me, I really didn't get any attention until I at least put in a full year on my channel. For several months, I was wandering about, trying to get people to help me and explain things. They all thought I was just trying to, smooge up to them so I can get some of those sweet subs. And I wasn't trying to figure out how to do this. But I disappeared for 4 months because my computer died. But when I came back, I had a full year under my belt. And suddenly everybody's talking to me. And apparently that's the way it is. Like, if you don't have a year, nobody takes you seriously. Well, that's what this is about. I take you seriously. If you're starting out, if you're sincere about trying to create some content, if you just want to help out other people or you need some people to help you out, give me a buzz. And let's see about setting something up here. We've got a few rules. We've got some vetting. But, as long as you're willing to be formal, we'll have some room for you. And maybe you can help us out too, because we've met some amazing talent here. They've helped out, and I appreciate you guys coming on the live stream because Mark Doppelganger, you've been very informative. And Buttercup, I know you were initially nervous, but you seem to be taking to this very well. And, that's about it. So I hope everybody has a nice day. I'm Unthoth Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers. And you have been listening to Eldritch Rants.
Laters all.
Oh, and if anyone needs crappy poetry written for them, come find me.
Any closing words, Mark?
Oh, thank you for inviting me as a guest, and it's been fun. Nice to meet you all.
Good meeting you too.
Likewise. Come back anytime. Anyway, 3, 2, 1.